Let's pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you've committed to our church. Amen. Next order.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
No messages. Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
No petitions.
Order number 5, papers.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Next order.
Order number 8, motion.
There is a motion by the Honorable Peter Mwamba Kajwang, the representative for member for the County Assembly's Forum. Honorable Kajwang.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and good morning to honorable members. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move a motion. Sorry. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable members. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move a motion that pursuant to Articles 37 and 119 of the Constitution of Kenya, this County Assembly resolves to petition the National Assembly individually and collectively as the County Assembly Forum, CAF, via the annexed draft petition for the National Assembly to intervene and ensure that the County Ward Equitable Development Fund be incorporated in the proposed constitutional amendment bill before the National Assembly by the Honorable Stephen Mule MP and the Honorable Gichimu Gidinji MP, alongside other proposed funds, namely National Government Constituency Development Fund, NGCDF, National Government Affirmative Action Fund, NGAF, the Senate Oversight Fund, and the Economic Stimulus and Empowerment Fund, either prior to the publication of the said bill or before it is referred to the Senate in accordance with the rules of procedure of Parliament. Second, that the proposed constitutional amendment bill in amending Article 204 of the Constitution should provide for the following with respect to County Ward Equitable Development Fund: that each county government shall allocate funds comprising of a certain percentage of the respective total county's annual budget estimates, or as shall be advised by the Commission on Revenue Allocation, CRA, during the enactment of the County Allocation of Revenue Act to cater for County Wards Equitable Development Fund. That all monies allocated to County Ward Equitable Development Fund shall be considered as funds allocated to the ward pursuant to Article 206 2C to be administered in accordance with the provision of an Act of Parliament, and that Parliament shall enact a legislation to provide for the administration of the County Ward Equitable Development Fund. Mr. Speaker, this is the motion. I just want to reiterate that County Ward Equitable Development Fund. What it means is that we are asking as counties to be able also to be enjoined in the constitutional amendment bill before the National Assembly, which is going on, so that we are also allocated the County Wards Equitable Development Fund. Equitable is not synonymous to equal. So we are talking of County Equitable Development Fund. Honorable members, as you are aware, that we have an existing law in the County of Nakuru in regard to Ward Development Fund. But we are now enjoining the bigger body, the rest of the country, in this push, so that we want to enhance our kitty to the effect that whatever is allocated to the County Wards Equitable Development Fund is pledged on the coming budget, not on the previously audited budget. What we have right now is pledged on the previously audited budget, but we want it to be pledged on the coming budget. I think that is going to boost our kitty to a higher level. Honorable members, as we are aware right now, we are entitled to 45% of the development fund in the county. We leave a whooping 55% for the governor and the executive to execute their pilot projects. But we insist that 45% goes to our respective wards for the developments that are prioritized by Wanjiku on the ground. Honorable members, I beg you to consider this motion positively and affirmatively so that we join the rest of the country in this push for County Wards Equitable Development Fund. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to speak so much. I might finish the words from the mouth of honorable members. I want a robust contribution from the honorable members into the positive consideration of this motion. So, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move. Let me now call upon Honorable Catherine, MCA representative of South Rift chapter of CAF, to second this motion. Thank you.
The Honorable Catherine Mwangi.
I second the motion. Let me say something. About the Ward Fund, you know, in the Constitution, it was the national government were given mandate to the national government. So I think what Kajwang is saying about the 45%, we should at least pass it. Because for the MCAs, you know, you're the people. We are the people who have the mandates on the ground. Because when it comes to mashinani, at least you are the ones who know this project, and the projects are going to be done. And to pass this project, please, my fellow MCAs, pass this project so that we can be given that money and this mandate of the work we are doing. So I beg, I second.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Catherine. The motion is open now for debate. The Honorable Mutai.
Mr. Speaker, I support the motion, and I base my argument on my argument and support on the interest of Wanjiku back there in the village. All along, we've always been trying to find ways of supporting devolution. And devolution means that trickling down the resources from the national level up to the ward level. I was a sympathizer of CCM, the party called CCM, Mr. Speaker, at some point, Chama Mashinani. And they had this one in mind that if resources can really be pushed to the ward level, where the representative in the ward is the MCA, who actually knows and has also collected information about the needs and the requirements of the local mwananchi, it would really augur very well. So today, if you ask me to actually talk about a cattle dip in Keringet ward, I would be able to tell you the location and the importance of that cattle dip if it can be improved. And when resources are therefore allocated to the ward level in plenty, then I'm very certain that the MCA and also the development committee in the ward level will be able to chart way forward on how to improve these projects. So we are going to actually register a lot of speedy development, which to me, I believe that is actually the essence of a developing country. So we begin from the small unit to the world level, and we move on developing nationally. So I really support this, and I want to believe that each and every ward in this country will actually support the same. So thank you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa Karanja.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me first of all thank Honorable Kajwang and the CAF leadership. I think for the first time you have rediscovered yourselves. And you have known the mandate that we pay for you to be in existence. Therefore,
Mr. Speaker,
Mr.
Speaker, I
What
think,
is it, Mheshimiwa Kajwang?
a sick person does not tell the doctor.
Mr.
How
Speaker,
Mheshimiwa Karanja, allow Mheshimiwa
I
Kajwang.
think Honorable Karanja is out of order to say that it's the first time that I'm rediscovering myself. I beg Honorable Karanja to withdraw and apologize.
Mr. Speaker, I did not say Honorable Kajwang. I talked about the institution called CAF. That it is for the first time this institution has discovered that it does exist, although it is not constitutionally in the Constitution. Therefore, Honorable Kajwang, you are just an appendage of that body. Therefore, and that's why we are thanking you. I don't know why you are jumping the gun. We are just thanking you for knowing that you are existing. Number two, thank you for knowing that your cardinal objective is to defend the devolved units. That one we thank the whole administration and the leadership of CAF for that. Number two, Mr. Speaker, I do agree with the motion. Because last time, Honorable Mr. Speaker, there was what was called the Kangata Bill. Before the Kangata became the governor, and when he was a senator, he brought a motion that was killed by the same assembly, by the same parliament. Therefore, we are asking, Mr. Speaker, that that the motion, that the bill that is currently underway, and we also thank the honorable member for doing so, that it does anchor whatever CAF is asking into law. Why am I suggesting that, and why am I on the same footing with the honorable member? One, Mr. Speaker, it is a very bad scenario, and I know the members know what is ailing Meru, and I think members have seen that the Meru governor is under siege. The reason being is that members want the fund, because you cannot operate, Mr. Speaker, as if you are operating in a vacuum as a member of county assembly. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, we want such scenarios to end completely, such that it is not the prerogative of the governor to know how much poison he or she should give to the rat in order for that rat to die. It should be prescribed that he gives certain percentage and the rat will die.
Mheshimiwa Karanja, you're a sadist. Are you a sadist
No.
now that you want to, what is it? Do you have maybe another way of framing it apart from introducing death?
It is,
and poison in this debate.
Mr. Speaker, as a student of literature, sometimes you juxtapose so that you are able to explain your scenario correctly. That it is not always, Mr. Speaker, let me put in a language that is palatable to you. Mr. Speaker, what I'm saying is this. It is not the prerogative of the governors after the resources have come all the way from the national government to know how much he or she should give to a ward. One ward can get less, the other one gets more. But when there is a fund, that MCA will be able to know exactly what, how, and where he or she should place the money. Because the smallest development, the smallest unit for development should be the ward. And I know members will concur with that. But Mr. Speaker, there has been a scenario, and that's what I want to disabuse, that an MCA is so small that he or she should not be given money. And there was, when you look at the Kangata bill, and that's why I'm also worried that we are giving some people who have not been saved to save us as a county assembly. Mr. Speaker, if you correctly look at the scenario that the Kangata bill was, and I know Honorable Mokomeni now is listening because he is now a CS. He was the engineer and the catechist of killing the motion. Mr. Speaker, if you look at what now we are saying, that the MPs should first of all distance themselves from the MCA phobia. That if you give development money to MCA, then it automatically that MCA will overthrow you. Mr. Speaker, you know very well that there was Honorable Mutai here. Honorable Mutai, now the MCA, well, by that time MCA Sirikwa, who had nothing other than the height. And Mr. Speaker, right now, he is the MP. He defeated a deputy speaker of the National Assembly without what? Money. Therefore, leadership is given by God, not by what? Not by people. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I do urge the MCAs here that because we are the unit of development and the devolved unit, Mr. Speaker, we do urge as the parliament that it should not unite when they are fighting for their own welfare. Right now, they are all together. They do not know factions because they are fighting for CDF. Now, when it comes to the issue of MCAs and the Ward Development Fund, you will see some of them detaching themselves from the same. The other thing, Mr. Speaker, I finish up with CAF. And I thank God that you have seen the right to Damascus. CAF should first of all fight to be entrenched in the law. This issue of being beggars is the one that has made the devolved unit to die. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, and I know Honorable Kajwang has a bigger mind. He has the focus, just like his brothers. Therefore, we are asking that we use what we have here so that we can urge the assembly, the National Assembly, and the whole assembly is 47 of them, that when we pass this bill, what happens? And I ask the members, and the honorable members you are seated, what happens when we pass this law and then the National Assembly keeps mum? What happens? I think, Honorable Kajwang, when you bring a problem, definitely you must have an answer. What will happen? Because now you are using the assemblies as a pipe to take you to the other side. What happens when we do so and then they don't act? You should also tell us that after doing this, what the CAF intends to do. The last thing I say, as you have now seen Damascus, now fight for the welfare of members. You cannot give a honorable member a 90 kg sack to carry when that member is only 2 kilograms of weight. You will suffocate the member. So what we are saying, as we fight for this one, let us also fight for the welfare of what? Members. Let us not be the poor members of the society, just the way we have been relegated. Mr. Speaker, I know you are also a member, and I know you are listening. Because you are good listening, and because you are an MCA, and because also you are a church elder. Mr. Speaker, as we fight for this, also fight for the downtrodden. Fight for those people who have no say. And I know that when you do so, because Honorable Kajwang is here and our dear sister is here. And we thank her because she was elected. We thank you. But when you are elected, just do something that you should also be seen. Therefore, I'm asking the members, can we support this one? And then we put an annexure that what happens when they don't do what? They don't act. I think it is also a prerogative to do that. I do to urge the members to pass order. Kajwang, thank you for bringing it, and I have seen that you have the spirit of your brother. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Karanja, or Mheshimiwa the Majority Whip, and then Mheshimiwa Mwangi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mine is just to support this timely intervention and to urge and ask my fellow members to unanimously endorse this. But just to echo what my brother, the Honorable Karanja said, we should also be alive to the reality that this initiative might not find favor with a section of maybe politicians, like he has mentioned, maybe the MPs. So we also need to start scratching our heads and find ways that through the curve, in case this initiative goes to that level and it finds a very serious blockage from our MPs, what is the way forward? Because we do not want this a very important agenda. And I was just seeing the page of we have a page of majority whips in the entire country. And the whole discussion from yesterday until today in the morning was that each house in the county is passing, this document today. So we just want through our representatives to assure us that they have put enough very good strategies that in case it reaches Nairobi to that level and a few people here and there decide to speak otherwise against this document, what happens to it? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Otherwise, I support it.
Mheshimiwa Mwangi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I stand here to support the motion and also to congratulate our brothers in CAF for a very commendable job that you are doing. Thank you, Honorable Kajwang and our sister here. Mr. Speaker, to be very honest, that members of county assemblies are the first officers in the line of response to Wajiko queries and all manners of things. So by having such a ward kitty, it will solve a lot of problems, because like now we are being followed by our people. If, Mr. Speaker, you had walked into the governor's office this morning, you would have seen that people are really in need of work. The tender box is already full. Tenders are there in a heap. So it means we shall be able to reach to our people at our ward level, not by coming to county or to the national level. So yes, I'm here to support this motion and also to urge members of the National Assembly, please do not fail us by not adopting the motion or the good bill that is going to be brought to your attention. So I support the motion in totality.
The Honorable John Maritim from Kamara, and then the Honorable Alex Mwamba from Lakeview.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand here to support the motion and also to congratulate Honorable Kajwang and Catherine for doing our recommended job at CAF. One is that I believe that in many of our wards, we have rampant stall projects that are rampant across all the wards. Because the county allocation at times is not enough. Given an example that you can give another 30 million, and you've given a project that need to be done in your ward or almost of 60 million, you see that there's still insufficiency of funds to complete it. So I think that is the best. The second thing, I think also our members as MCAs, our MPs are also representative. They are voted for. And many of us did a lot of job to see many of the MPs were given that position. What if we talk our MPs to accept this bill? I think it can work well. Because us, like Resoino, we have Mheshimiwa Mutai, and I believe you also understand. He was once an MCA, and I know that also. He will understand, and he'll still have some interest from other MPs. Finally, to CAF also members, I think the next thing you will do next is that we need increment of our salaries. In that 40% of the basic salary of a governor takes like 866,000. 40% of it is like 346. Even on Kajwang and Catherine next time you in CAF, I think that's the next proposal. Thank you very much. I stand to support the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. That is Mheshimiwa Kajwang is taking, and of course at the closure of this motion he'll be he'll be responding. Mheshimiwa Alex.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to support this motion and first congratulate the member and those from CAF body for this noble task that they have seen fit. Mr. Speaker, in the year 2003, when the Kibaki administration started, in fact, you find that the 9th Parliament will be remembered for the enactment of the CDF Act. Mr. Speaker, that is the time that we saw the people and the Republic of Kenya getting the benefits of a government that they so hard had worked for so many years. Mr. Speaker, when you go to the previous regimes before the 9th Parliament that came in 2003, you realize that most of the counties and constituencies had dragged behind. The main cause of this was if you are not in touch with one president of the country, you will not get any service to your people. And hence it made members of parliament to be beggars, either around State House, and even the intelligence services were surrounding members. So that if you are heard that you are not communicating well or you are not in good terms with the presidency or the executive, you will not get any of the services from the government. However, Mr. Speaker, when this happened in the year 2003, you find that the 9th Parliament became like a Bible to many other countries within the world. India fast-tracked its own legislature, and they took the example of Kenya. Being the first parliament, the Indian Parliament became the first parliament to adopt the CDF within their country. South Africa and Ghana within Africa took it. Mr. Speaker, I look at a situation whereby the CDF has changed so many lives within this country. It has since evolved from CDF to NGCDF within the past years. Mr. Speaker, I've had the rare opportunity to represent the people of Naivasha as the chairperson CDF within the last regime from 2017 to 2022. And within that span of time, Mr. Speaker, if this is the dream that has been envisaged by the great people who represent us in the CAF, I would say that we as a country and as Nakuru County, we are headed to great things. It is time, Mr. Speaker, we see such bills being moved or such motion being moved and passed by this assembly. The meaning of this, Mr. Speaker, will mean that today, the persons living in Visoi and Biashara Ward, Naivasha, Lakeview within Naivasha, they will not depend on the mercies of a governor to the execution of their mandate. Today, Mr. Speaker, we have a governor who listens to the people. What if one day we have a governor who will be drunk by power and will ensure that such programs will not happen to the people? We must keep security of our own wards, and I feel that by us stating that we shall get enough money for our wards, we shall ensure that the service to Mwananchi is well felt. Most of these honorable members all came from their homes this morning, because these people don't reside anywhere else. When you go to Mheshimiwa from Elementaita, you'll find that he has an area that is so large, but he comes from an area whereby he feels the needs of the people. If he is given the privilege to run a ward kitty whereby he will be able to secure the needs of those people, it will be good. In the past 1 month, Mr. Speaker, we have had darkness within our streets within Nakuru County and more so within Rekri Ward, Naivasha, where I come from. And we have had instances where school-going children, Mr. Speaker, are being attacked. And when you come back to the county, trying to get whereby you can get connection to get the electricity fixed, the Mulika Mwizi fixed, it is nearly impossible because there is no framework. All you are told, we shall be waiting for a centralized kind of procurement, and we don't have materials at the moment, which means, Mr. Speaker, the big man is still in control. We need an approach whereby development in Kenya will surely be a bottom-up approach, whereby we start development from down here going up. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this motion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, the Honorable Alex. Mheshimiwa Rose from Kiptagich.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'm Rose Chapkoech, MCA, Kiptagich Ward. I want to support and congratulate our honorable members who are in the CAF team because of County Equitable Development Fund, which will promote growth in our ward. And our representation will be well. We will do oversight very well. And again, each ward shall identify development project for implementation in our ward, and it will be so easy. Again, duplication of any project in national government and county will not be there because maybe we will be consulting with our MPs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. The Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I also rise actually to support this motion, and at least to give it also a little bit of an understanding for the sake of some of our members, so that they can be able to participate in moving this particular motion. Members, I think we are aware that the CDF, which has been a kitty for the members of parliament, at some point was actually declared to be illegal. When the members of parliament went back to parliament, they have introduced a bill that will try to legalize and legitimize the presence of CDF and also be able to entrench it in the constitution, so that it will not be something that you beg or someone wakes up one morning and decides to remove it. It will be part of the constitution. That is why there is this bill already in the parliament to try and amend the constitution to entrench the CDF. The county assemblies, in the same way, we remained orphaned, because if the CDF will be removed and made illegal and declared illegal, for us the ward funds will also appear to be illegal in one way or another. So what the members of parliament have gone ahead to do, they introduced their own security for CDF fund. We, as MCAs, did not have a framework or a way in which we can be able to also have our own ward funds. I really don't want to underscore the importance of our ward funds, because you all know its importance. you know how it assists you from your ward. As you meet your inches, you know where the shoe pinches, you know the small things that they miss. And without such fundings, it becomes hard if you only to rely on the executive to be able to assist you to do the development in your own ward. So what this motion, Mr. Speaker, seeks to address is to ensure that also the ward funds is also entrenched in the Constitution. It will not be something we go to beg or to request or to ask the executive to be able to help us. It is something that, while the National Assembly is entrenching their own CDF there, we as county assemblies also seek to have the ward funds be part of that part of the Constitution, which is actually being amended in the National Assembly. So we would wish to maybe request the members from where we come from and the various wards and constituencies that we seek to talk to our various members of parliament. And I'm glad that while this activity is going on here in Nakuru, it is also going on in most counties, and we thank a few counties who have already gone ahead to pass this motion to implore the national government to consider us as the basic unit within the county. So it's upon our duties also to go and solicit and ask for help from our various members of parliament. And this one is a message that we have passed to all MCAs and all various counties, that let them go to speak to their members of parliament. When this bill, as we pass it from our various assemblies, reaches the parliament, it can be able to get the support. That far much as they consider themselves for CDF, let them also consider us for our ward development funds. So I know most assemblies are going to move this and accept it and adapt it, and the task ahead is ahead there. So it's also upon us as Nakuru Assembly, and I really wish to put this one with some weight, because that is, if we do the good jobs, all of us as we post, as I have heard somebody desperately talk about it, what happens if we pass it, it reaches Assembly and it is again rejected? The honors is upon us members, that let us move to our members of parliament. Let us see the importance of entrenching this particular part in amendments of section Article 204 of the Constitution to provide, as it has been stated in the motion that has been moved for our good friend Kajwang. And as I end, Mr. Speaker, it's just doing that for us to be able to understand what are we doing, what are we moving. We are asking back that this CDF of ours, so to call it, Ward Development Fund, should now be entrenched on law, so that it's anchored the way CDF is anchored, and nobody should be able to wake up one morning and be able to move it. Others, I wish to also end by congratulating Honorable Kajwang and Catherine for representing us in CAF. We know surely you are equal to the task, and when this house send you there, I think we are seeing the fruits. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to also support this motion on understanding and on an assignment. And we as members, let us go back, talk to our members of parliament, each individually, and request them that when this consideration is done in the amendments of Article 204 in the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, they also consider us. Mr. Speaker, I actually beg to support the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, the Honorable Majority Leader, Mheshimiwa Robert Ruto.
Thank you.
Then I will come on my left side.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Robert Ruto, representing Kakures Ward. I stand to support this noble idea from our CAF members, Right Honorable Mwamba Kajwang and Madam Catherine, for this idea. It will promote, definitely it will promote the growth in our wards, Mr. Speaker, and development will be felt. Mr. Speaker, as you know, the MCA is the one who knows more where the rubber meets the road. And that's why by empowering MCA, Wanjiko will definitely be empowered. I therefore beg to support. I only urge my fellow honorable members to please go and talk to our honorable members of parliament in order for them to hone this idea and support it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Ruto. Mheshimiwa Nene, and then Mheshimiwa Anthony Kamau.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I am George Nene representing Elementaita Ward. Mr. Speaker, I think that devolution was meant to move decision making closer to the citizens. Devolution was also meant to bring resources closer to the common mwananchi. Mr. Speaker, the MCAs are closer to the challenges affecting the people because every day we interact with the people, and therefore with the Equalization Fund, we shall be able to address some of the challenges that are affecting our people. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the scenario of Meru, that scenario should not have happened if the MCAs had a fund. The MPs have been able to achieve a lot because they had a fund that they could use to address the challenges of their people. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this motion, and I also congratulate Honorable Kajwang and Honorable Catherine for this noble motion before this House. Mr. Speaker, I therefore support this motion with my body and my soul. Thank you.
Honorable Anthony.
Asante sana Bwana Spika. Mimi nasimama kuunga mswada huu mkono na niseme ya kwamba hili ni wazo ambalo wakati wake umefika, na pia nipatie kongole wenzetu ambao wanatuwakilisha katika shirika la CAF kwa kazi nzuri ambalo wamefanya. Bwana Spika, nikisema ya kwamba mwenzangu amesema ya kwamba kuhusu mambo ya CDF. Ukiangalia kiini cha CDF ilianzishwa mwaka wa 2003 na wakati huo hatukuwa na ugatuzi. Na wakati huu sasa tuko na ugatuzi na wodi ndiyo kitengo cha chini cha ugatuzi. Kwa hivyo ningependa kusema ya kwamba ni wazo ambalo limekuwa la muhimu sana, kwa sababu ukiangalia sisi kama wawakilishi wa Wanjiko pale chini, wengine wetu Bwana Spika, inatupasa tunatoka hata asubuhi mapema, kwa sababu hatuwezi kuangalia ama zile shida ambazo ziko pale kwa Wanjiko zimekuwa ni nyingi sana. Na bila pesa kama hii ambaye inawekwa kwa MCA, inakuwa ni vigumu sana hata kuongea na wananchi na matakwa yao inakuwa ni mengi. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, mimi naunga mkono mswada huu, kwa sababu ukiangalia wakati huu watoto wetu wengi wamefukuzwa shuleni, hatuna pesa za CDF za zile ambazo zilikuwa zinatumika za basari, na pia basari yetu ambaye tulikuwa napewa kama 1,000,000 ama 2,000,000 ni pesa chache sana ukiangalia. Kwa hivyo tukiweka mswada huu katika sheria itakuwa ni jambo la muhimu sana, kwa sababu kama vile mwenzangu amesema, wakati huu tunaweza kuwa na gavana ambaye anatusikiza, lakini itafika wakati ambaye yule ambaye atakuwa pale kama gavana itakuwa ni unaimba wimbo wake ndio unapata maendeleo. Na kama vile tunajua pale ambapo tumetoka kitambo ilikuwa ni siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya. Kwa hivyo hili jambo likiweko katika sheria itakuwa ni jambo la muhimu sana, na itatuwezesha sisi kama wakilishi wa wodi kutekeleza matakwa yetu ama kutekeleza wajibu wetu kwa Wanjiko. Kwa hivyo mimi Bwana Spika, ninasimama kuunga mswada huu mkono, na asanti sana kwa wakilishi wetu, na nahisi wenzangu tuunge mkono swala hili ili tuweze kuendelea mbele. Asante Bwana Spika. Nashukuru.
Asante. The Honorable Morage from Maseges.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Let me start by congratulating Honorable Kajwang. This bill is a game changer. We are going to have more resources in our wards, and our residents will be able to identify the priority projects in our wards. And then the equitable sharing of resources will mean that the resources will be decentralized. Mr. Speaker, I can see the spirit in Honorable Kajwang, ile ya bado mapambano. Let us support this bill and our wards will be great. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Murage. Mheshimiwa Gadhoita from Dondori Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Doita Mwangi, representing the people of Dondori Ward. I'm pleased to support the motion by our honorable member on issue that on 3 bases. First, it is empowerment to the county assembly members in all wards. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the criteria of leadership, leadership comes with responsibility. Responsibility comes with management. Where if you are given like responsibility, it is up to you to take the management level. Now responsibility comes with financial burden. It is only in this level that unless a member of county assembly have responsibility, yet he doesn't have the financial muscle to drive those responsibility. So I would like to support the equitable share for every ward, so that MCA can have that fund to drive their agenda. 2, it will create a scenario where the projects that are stalled, some projects are yet do not come to completion due to lack of fund. I come from Bahati constituency, Mr. Speaker, where the management of CDF was very well utilized, and we were positioned as the #1 as the county where the CDF was well managed, and it replicated to the ground on issue that schools, toilets, every roads were built. And if this fund of Ward Development come to our level, as MCA, you will stand to in a public or in public participation and declare this road will be built in the next financial year, and you are sure that road will be built. We will have a dam to be constructed or to be built in the area. Because you have the fund in your account, that will create a scenario where the service delivery will be intact. Mr. Speaker, I want to support this motion on another scenario where the member of county assembly will have a say and take the responsibility of every project that is done, so that we can have project done to completion anytime, anywhere. I like to support, and I beg all the members of county assembly to support the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa Digal, and then we put question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I stand to support this motion. More than that, I want to thank our honorable members, my honorable Catherine and Kajwang, for this motion. This motion actually is going to actualize the meaning of devolution, because this motion will help us in the ground, because we are always with Wanjiko at home. This 30 million given to our ward representative is just peanuts compared to what is in the member of parliament's reach. I see at times it's very shameful for an MCA to give bursary less than 600,000 for the entire ward. It is very embarrassing because I talked with my ward admin recently. When I saw it is very embarrassing for an MCA to divide only 600,000 to the entire ward, where people are very needy. So I see it very important for us to have more funds in the ground. Recently, before the school closed down, we have had problems. Maybe me, maybe the rest of the honorable members, okay. We have been receiving so many calls and visitors at home in the morning or in the evening that their children have been chased from school, that every school needs what is known as zero balance. So it is a problem. So that when we have more funds, we shall have to increase the amount to be given as bursary. Because Wanjiko always feels when you give or her or him money for the bursary for their children, they even value it even than all infrastructure which is in the school, like a cardotive water, but they always value when you give a bursary. I know of the previous MCAs ambaye wamekuwa na shida sana, sababu wanalalamika kwamba hawajapatiwa bursary, imekuwa shida sana. Ni sababu pesa ni kidogo. So I support this motion because I know when we have more funds in our wards, I know every Wanjiko will have his share. Now he will be satisfied. Otherwise, I stand to support this motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Digan. I want to invite the mover, but then there looks like there are members who want to hear their views. Mheshimiwa Wadhiai from Shabab, and then Mheshimiwa Kamau from Maimayu, and then the mover, Honorable Kajwang.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I stand to support this motion because the County Ward Equitable Development Fund is exactly what we need as MCAs. We need it because we are closer to Wanjiko than other leaders in our society, and we'll be able to implement the needs of Wanjiko as per the ones, including the projects. So, Mr. Speaker, we'll be able to implement the projects without even going to ask to look for authority to incur expenditure and from other sources. And actually, we'll be able to work diligently for our people because we'll be having direct tutakuwa na direct nini to the funds. Yani we can access the funds at will because we'll be controlling the funds. So actually, we also need to look for other ways to reach out to either the president, either through CAF, or some other ways. Either all MCAs, maybe you look for an appointment with the president and try and talk to him so that he can also try and lobby for us and assist us in lobbying to the members of parliament. And maybe with that, with the support of the president, I believe we can be able to lobby our MPs to support the bill. I stand to support this bill and also congratulate Honorable Catherine and Honorable Kajwang for being elected and representing us in CAF. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yeah, asante sana Bwana Spika kwa sababu ya kunipatia hii nafasi. Pia nichukue nafasi hii niwashukuru Mheshimiwa Kajwang na Catherine kwa sababu ya kutuwakilisha katika CAF. Mheshimiwa Spika, huu ni mjadala wa wakati kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Spika, sisi kama wawakilishi wodi tuko kama askari ambaye ametumwa kwa vita akiwa amefungwa mikono. Kwa sababu bila hizi fund na umeambiwa uende kwa Wanjiku uokote ile mahitaji yote yako nao ulete, na hauna uwezo wowote wa kutekeleza, kusema kweli ni kama tumefungwa mkono. Kwa hivyo mimi nimesimama niunge mkono huu mjadala na niseme ya kwamba utakuwa wa maana na utakuwa kwa faida kwa Wanjiku, na ombi langu kubwa ni ya kwamba hata kwa wabunge watushike mkono na watuunge pamoja, diposa huu mjadala uweze kupita. Na mimi naamini ya kwamba hii ukipita, naweza kuwa na uhakika nikiimba kusema ya kwamba our freedom is coming. Asante sana.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Now the mover, Honorable Kajwang.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable members. I want to thank you in a special way, honorable members, for having given a very positive contribution to this motion. There is no one single contributor who has talked contrary to what the motion proposes, and I'm very sure that we are going to sail 100% in affirmative for this motion. Honorable Speaker, I just want to reiterate what members have talked in details, just in summary, because this is now, as one member has said, where the rubber meets the road. People will gauge your performance in this house with the development that you've initiated on the ground through public participation. And this is the time that now we are going to get very good opportunity to get priorities on issues of development from our people and be able and stand a very good ground to implement them. Mr. Speaker, we are aware that there are several arms of, devolved units of the government, and mostly these devolved units are being sorted at the county level. Issues of infrastructure, Mr. Speaker, sir, issues of drainage in our various wards, issues of roads, issues of lighting. These are issues that we are able to solve once we get these ward development funds entrenched into the law. We have issues of capacity building. We know, Mr. Speaker, sir, our youths, the issues of our youths and the vulnerable people in the society, like our women. We also have people living with disabilities. We are able to reach these people with development agenda when we have these funds. And I'm very sure that the little we can do, we are going to make very positive changes. Issues of bursary, Kitty. A member has stated here with a lot of sympathy that we usually have very little to give to our people in terms of trying to help them to meet their bursary needs. And now I can tell honorable members that we will be able to boost even that bursary kitty by using the wards that, by using the funds that emanates from this ward development funds. Issues of service delivery, Mr. Speaker, issues of ECD, the young, our children going to school will be able to build infrastructure for them using this kind of funds from the Ward Development Fund. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to appreciate the members for giving this motion a very positive look. And now I want to ask all members that as we leave the chambers, I know, Mr. Speaker, I have the confidence that members are going to vote in affirmative of this motion. And once that one is done, as we leave the chambers, kindly, all members, let us sign the affidavit at the Sergeant at Arms desk. We don't want to present a petition from Nakuru Assembly that has been signed by only maybe 20 members. And I want to give a challenge and urge our whips, the majority whip and the minority whip, Honorable Fadhili and Honorable Virginia, kindly whip all the members so that we append our signature into that affidavit, so that we stand counted among all the counties that have passed this motion positively. A number of counties, as we speak right now, have already passed it. This was a very important motion that has been addressed since yesterday in all the 47 counties. And I'll be very privileged also to report to the rest of the membership of CAF that we as Nakuru County Assembly have passed that motion positively. And now we push it to another level. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to address just a small thing on issue of what if we pass it and then it goes to the National Assembly and then they reject it. Right now, we have to appreciate the fact that there's a bill that is now on the floor of the National Assembly that was done by Uyu MP wa Matungulu and then MP for Gichugwa in regard to this bill. And we are just putting an affidavit. We are putting a petition that we get enjoined, that our agenda get enjoined in that bill. And once our agenda get enjoined in that bill, we are going to be very skeptical if any member would say that we want to concentrate on this bill, but we remove the issue of Ward Development Fund for the counties. That would be suicidal. Because, Mr. Speaker, as members have reiterated, we are the primary level of development in this country. So, Honorable Karanja, I think this will be well received by the National Assembly and also by the movers of this bill in the Assembly. Apart from this, Mr. Speaker, I want to reiterate for the benefit of those who were not there yesterday, I gave a brief of a number of agendas we are following as CAF for the benefit, welfare of the members, and also for the welfare of Wanjiku at the ground. Ward Development Fund has been a big issue, and now it has been escalated to very positive levels. We are also at a very advanced stages of entrenching CAF into the Constitution. Honorable Karanja, be well assured that we are on this squarely because this is the only way that we will make sure that whatever we pass at CAF level is implementable. We are also talking of financial autonomy for the assemblies. We don't want to go with ball and beg the governor so that when we make requisition to facilitate members for their programs, then we have to make requisition through the executive. We want total financial autonomy as it is in other levels of legislation, the National Assembly and also the Senate. We are also following up on the issue of pension, which is also at a very advanced level. And I'm proud to say that it has not met any controversies. And as things develop, I'm sure that I'll be able to inform members of the positive development in that issue. We are saying that we are equal also to the other members or representatives in other cadres kwa sababu tulichaguliwa na Wanjiku, si ndio? Another thing that we are also following up is the issue of car grant. It's called reimbursement. Last time, the members of the assembly who were here, we were really dejected that after we had been offered the reimbursement, the taxman came and said now we had to pay tax in regard to that reimbursement. We found that one was quite unfair because it only happened in the county assemblies, but also in national assemblies and also in the Senate, these benefits are never taxed. So we are also working closely with KRA and SRCs so that we iron up these issues so that members are not caught up in shock that they need to pay tax in regard to car reimbursement. The issue of salaries, we this is now very important, and we have a very positive argument to it, that we want our salaries to be paid as a percentage of the governor's salary. It is happening at the national level, where MPs and senators are being paid salary equivalent to 40% of the president. And we also feel the same should trickle down here. We should also be given the same percentage as a percentage of the governor's salary. Members, if you work out 40% of the governor's salary, I think most of you will be very motivated to work for Wanjiku. Another thing that we are also looking at, which should not even elicit so much controversy, is the issue of plenary allowances. The same argument is being advanced in the National Assembly, also in the Senate. We think and we believe that we members need to be given the plenary allowances. And the main argument here is that when you are revising the benefit of a member, of an employee, it can never be to his disadvantage. Huwezi anza kusema huyu alikuwa anapata mshahara ya 20,000 sasa tumpatie 15,000. Haiwezekani, si ndio? So tunasema let all these things come back. And we in CAF, we are very, very, very dedicated following up these issues with all the relevant authorities. And I can assure you members, we are going to get very positive results in our pursuit. Honorable Speaker, before I sit, I just want to congratulate, or I want to say thank you to Honorable Ruto of Kapkores, who has addressed me as the Right Honorable Peter Kajwang. I don't take that for granted. He is my neighbor on the other side of the river, and I know that when he says that, he has very positive review for the member of County Assembly for September 1. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Kajwang. Thank you for your input and the response that you've put across. I now want to put question on what we've been discussing the whole morning session. And because the motion is quite lengthy, it has two parts. We are going to just have those of the same opinion and the part of those that are of contrary opinion. I may not read through the motion as it is, because as you realize, it's a lengthy motion. So as many as of the same opinion say aye. As many as are of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, those are the orders of the sitting.
Honorable members, the House starts adjourned until 2:30 in the afternoon.